Alright, so how's it going? 3 weeks in, we have the Electrodacus Solar Battery Management System, the SBMS 40. So yeah, it's been about 3 weeks after I had it all set up. This is the second video. The first video I kind of went over the ribbon cable wiring, got a little involved there, so hopefully this is more fun. So I'm going to kind of go over just kind of how I've been using it the last 3 weeks, go through some of the numbers on the gizmo. We can go over the components of my system, and then we can go over what needs to be done yet, because nothing's ever finished, right? So a little outline there. So yeah, 3 weeks in, I've been working from home. I've been using this to power a work laptop, two 22-inch, 23-inch LCD screens, flat screens, so they're non-LED, so old school, a little higher watt draw, so about 40-45 watts per. So I'll go ahead and start that stuff up in a minute, and we can kind of see how I've been using it. It's like a couple hundred watts at a shot when I have everything running. So right now I've only been using the external load to a Xantrex Pro Watt 600 pure sine wave inverter, and we'll kind of get through that when we go through the components and stuff. But so yeah, let's just kind of have a look at the gizmo here. So right now it's what time is it, like 10 a.m. I have the panels facing east, and so we're making, I don't have the inverter turned on, so I'm making a couple 250 watts or so to the battery. So at the top you have, it's kind of hard to read, it's small in the camera, but so at the top you have your voltage, 15 volts. The bottom is, might not be able to tell at all, but that's your cell, the biggest difference, cell imbalance between the cells. So that right now it's about in between 40 and 15 millivolts, so it's pretty good. I'm a tenth of a volt guy, so all this precision is kind of hoity-toity. But yeah, this morning I saw it was like 6 millivolts, and to me, like with my experience doing lipos for quadcopters and stuff like that, and battery packs that I've built, if I'm under a tenth, which would be like 100 millivolts, I'm happy. So that's really good. It's been working pretty good. I actually came up with so initially I came up with this, one of the banks was high, so I came up with this. These are like half watt straw hat LEDs, and no resistor or anything, so I just left on overnight on one of the banks that was high. It was about a tenth high, and that brought it down. But the gizmo has been working to balance the cells as well, so I'm happy with that. What else? Let's go check out some stats here, how I've been using it. So it's got a little code you got to get in to unlock it. This is kind of the main monitor screen. It shows us what we're doing. If you go down to about, you can kind of get what we've done. So yeah, I think that's coming through. So PV1, it's just got one photovoltaic in for the 40. So anyway, this is in watt hours, so 23.6 kilowatt hours, 23,600 watt hours. The battery, it looks like we've pulled 10.3 kilowatt hours out, or 10,300 watt hours. Uptime is 521 hours. And what else do we have? Oh, so yeah, the difference would be, so I run it during the day, it's been sunny, and so I can, the solar, it'll spit the solar into to power what I'm doing during the day mostly, so it's like it's going to help longevity a bit, so there's that. Let's turn some stuff on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the inverter on. I've just been turning it on and on. I've left it on overnight a few times. It just runs like vampire loads, and then the biggie draw would probably be the Google Wi-Fi. So let's turn it on. Alright, so it's on, and I'll show you the inverter after in a minute. So just an on state at about 20 watts. I think that's normal. So let me put the mic down. I'm gonna go turn on the computer, the monitors. There's the monitors kicked on. I have a speaker, like a desktop speaker system with a subwoofer. What else do I run? I usually charge an iPad or my cell phone, and then I'll turn the printer on too. So it'll be fun. 2 lamps that are like LED, 8 watts, something like that. So let me put you down, get those started. You can watch the numbers. Alright, so turn the computer on. It should throw on the dual monitors. There we go, they're up. So I just need to log in yet. But so yeah, it runs about 150 to 200 watts. And you can see, like with the solar, this is the typical day, work day for me. I've been lucky enough to be able to work from home with the virus and stuff. So anyway, yeah. So you have a plus at the top there, plus 48 watts. So we're netting 48 watts into the batteries from the panels. So the panels are kind of taking care of what I'm drawing right at the moment. So that's pretty fun. So let me turn on the printer. It's kind of a big cubey one. I'll show you it in a moment, but it's like a HP 2015, a big kind of like a work office thing. I'll turn it on and we can see the watts. The draw on startup like 1200 watts. It's pretty cool. And this little inverter is it'll do that for a little bit, even though it's rated for like 580 or something like that. It's a good gizmo. Let's turn the printer on. So yeah, I think I saw 1100. I think I saw 1100 watts. And then when I print, it will the little cooling fan in the inverter will spool up like a jet engine. So let me log in, and I'll print something. Alright, so there it was, just printed something, so I can handle printing on my printer. Usually, I think the inverter's cool, so it didn't, the fan didn't spool up, but it's kind of cool. It spools up really fast. And then any other time, it's been slow enough that you can't even hear it. So there's that. That's a little bit how I've been using it. Been pretty good. Like, had some cloudy days, and I think I might be able to get a full day with no sun out of it, and then maybe 2 days depending on like what trickles in on the solar. So that's kind of for my use profile, that's pretty good. I guess that's kind of what I wanted. Alright, so I switched to the 35 milli, and you're off tripod, so I try to hold you still. Here's the battery bank, Electrodacus. Some breaker, that's for the inverter. There's the inverter, that's the Pro Watt inverter. Pretty straightforward. I'm using a shunt, 75 millivolt, and it goes into the Electrodacus to measure current. Okay, so then we can kind of go up to the panels. Let's start with the panels. So through my window, this house is 3 years old, and I have rusty window wells. So let's I have to warranty that, eh? Looks bad. So anyway, yeah. So we have 12 gauge in. And I originally planned only to run one panel. So I have two panels. They're 240 watt, open circuit, like in the 40s or something like that, and 8 amps. So I think the power point is up on like the 30s for voltage. And so I'm not getting, you know, I'm bringing it down to 15, and I'm not getting, you know, so I top out at like 300 watts, 300 plus watts, and I'm not getting the little dark, but so I'm not getting like max performance, and that's fine. I knew that going into, so it's all kind of built around the inverter, which is a 12 volt, so 4S lithium. So there's inherent, you know, sub-optimality there. So it's an unfinished basement. My construction friends told me I could just drill a hole in the wall. I could do that, but I just can't bring myself to do it. The house is 3 years old. So I just did this, a little bit of wood, insulated in the sliding window. So, and that works out fine. In the winter, it gets a little cool here, so I have to plug that gap. So anyway, I have some MC4s. They're paralleled in. It's kind of a flux capacitor sitch, pretty sweet. And it does get 20 amps. That's kind of what I see max. The 12 gauge does get a little bit warm. I don't know. I'm open to changing it out. As I said, I only wanted one panel to start with. The reason I went with two panels is because I had a little. That's a little one of those eBay inverters, like all weather, and you just plug it into your house and it goes into the grid. You know, it's not exactly street legal, so keep that on the down low. Those both went kaput, which is not surprising, and I probably most certainly didn't get my payback on those. But so let's go outside and look at them real quick. All right, so here's a look at the panels. They are, you know, 240 watt panels, so on and so forth. They're parallel together. I put some aluminum angle, hooked them up that way, and it has like a summer angle and like a winter angle for my latitude. I would change it like twice a year, whether it's winter or summer. I haven't changed those in years, but that's how I designed that anyway. So let's see if we can see the back. All right, here's the back side. See if I can get a picture. I don't know how well that's coming through. Open circuit 37.35. Max power is 230 watts. Okay, so I thought it was 240. It's been a while. Oh, voltage at max 28.78. This is a good exercise. I haven't done this. Short circuit current 8.53. Current at Pmax is 799 amps. So two of those. Cool. Here's a look at that micro inverter that plugs right into the, I don't know if I can get that right into the house. So that plugs right into the wall there, and it went kaput. So, I mean, it was fun, but, you know, you can skip it. Like the sunshine? All right, so more on the component side. So solar in through the gizmo. Here's a breaker. It's a 125 amp. I'm going to swap in something smaller, maybe like a 30 or something like that. There's some clutter. All right, so here's the inverter. This guy is like I think it's a 20 amp. So that'll be on the load out. So I'm not using the load out on the Electrodacus at all at the moment, but I think 20 amp times the 15, 300 watts or so. So I'm not using anything on the load out yet. I have it wired, but nothing out. I think for me, I know I charge batteries and stuff, and I don't do a whole lot. So I think 300 watts or so will be okay. So here are the cells. Kind of the heart of the sitch. 4S, pin in, there you go, LG EAMF 11865. So that should be a 3.65 nominal voltage, 2150, I think, 21,000, or excuse me, 2.15 amp hour each. There are 80 of them in parallel, and then 4 in 4 series. So 320 cells gets us to about 2.5 kilowatts. And so I paid actually $1. I had to harvest them from cells like that. They're 10S packs, 10S2 parallel packs. So that's one thing. I had to harvest them, and but they came out to $1 a cell. That's pretty good as far as your dollar per kilowatt, right? So I think, so what is that? 320 bucks worth of cells, right? At $1 a piece. So you have 2.5 kilowatts. So or more than $100 and less than $200 for per kilowatt hour. So it's pretty good. I mean, I wish I could buy more cells. I can't find them that cheaply anymore. I should have bought more. So here's the cell level fusing, and hopefully, yeah, the lighting seems okay. So yeah, that is 12 gauge bus wire. There's 3 of them that you use a drill and twist them together, so it makes about a 7 gauge. And then I have cell level fusing here, and I have a tab welder that I built, and for me about 12 or 13 volts did it. And I'll show you the fusing wire here real quick. Let's get that out. Alright, some 30 gauge fusing wire, so it should blow it, I forgot, but 10-12 amps, something like that. So that's how you get your cell level fusing. That's a first for me. I haven't done it. So if I was going to do it again, that's pretty tedious doing 320 cell level fuses. So for me, I was in my own way really, but it took a long time for me to do it, just to get to it and all that. Kind of a loathful situation. So if I had to do it over again, I'd probably get a bigger form factor Nissan Leaf battery or Chevy Volt battery, or electric car battery, where they have fewer cells and more capacity per cell. But anyway, we made it through. All right, yeah. So I'm not really going through like how it's wired. That was a little. I might have done a little bit more of that in my first vid. So here's another 125 amp circuit breaker. DC, so that's in between the for the inverter. So that guy goes positive through the shunt and then over to the inverter. Okay, so that's about how we're set up. I have the inverter plugged into a couple power strips, and you saw I draw like a couple hundred watts during the day, and we're good to go. So that's kind of where we're at. So here's where we're going to talk about what to do, what's up next, right? So let's just start with the load out. So I just have, it's just a mess, but here's the load out wire amongst all this clutter. So I haven't done anything. And then the positive, or excuse me, the negative on the load out. This is the non-external load, the non-inverter load. It's 8 gauge, but I just have it sitting there, so that's kind of the next step. So I'm going to try to stuff those, figure out what length is good. This is 8 gauge. Try to stuff those in an XT60, and that'll just be kind of my plug-in, and I can branch out from that. Okay. Next up, so it'll be. I'm running it kind of low for heat, just for heat sinking. I'm not being real crazy with it. I did see it go up to, so right now it's 33C. I don't think you can see it. The lighting, let's see if you can see it. There it is, just above the 83% full, 33C. It has gone up to like 42C. That's Celsius. If it goes to 50, I think is where it starts shutting things down. So I did go ahead and get a couple of these beefy heat sinks. So I'm gonna fix that to the back of there. And then I'm gonna clean up. I'm gonna put foam in between to separate the cells, but just clean that up, you know? And then I'm gonna go ahead and do these terminals. I'm gonna get those covered up. And then, all right, so then I'm gonna stuff it all into this racking I built. So cells on the bottom, inverter will be middle or second row, the SBMS somewhere on the third row, thereabouts, and I'll kind of angle it so I can just see it straight away. And then the top will be like bench space or space where I can throw batteries to charge and things like that, so I'm not losing a ton of, so it should fit nicely in the corner of my bench there, and I'm not losing a ton of real estate. So that's kind of fit and finish stuff that I'm not real good at, but we're gonna do that next. And I think that's gonna be kind of the next thing up. So yeah, on the loadout, I'm gonna put that 20 amp breaker. I'm gonna swap that 125 amp breaker out for the solar, and throw it in the rack. So that's kind of the next step for me. And that's it.